So you're nearing the end of your degree and you're about to start your first proper job. The first role in what you hope will be a long and impressive career. How do you set yourself up for success? Throughout my career as an HR professional, I've seen lots of graduates who start jobs and make a few simple mistakes because they haven't prepared. Fail to plan, plan to fail, and all that. In this video, I'll be taking you through 4 questions that you should know the answer to so that you'll be ready. I'll be going through these in order of basic and easy to implement to things that will require a bit more reflection and effort on your part. So first impressions count, and a great way to start off on the wrong foot is to be late on your first day. This is a really basic and simple one to get right. So I remember one time I was working at an organization where I had to induct large numbers of employees every month. I'm talking 15 to 25 employees every 4 weeks. And the employees had to start at 9 on their first day. And so the majority of employees would arrive at 8:45 and some arrived at 8:30. And I remember one induction I was doing, an employee came into the induction at 9:45. So they were 45 minutes late on their first day. And I get that we all have lives and it might seem like a trivial, minor thing to be late, but your first day, your first week, your first 3 months, these are all important milestones. And the employee who came in late, they didn't have a reasonable excuse and they just said, sorry, I was late. So I caught them up as best as I could, but you could see in the room that a lot of his comrades, they were not impressed. So I recommend map out your commute. Think about what bus you're going to catch or how long it will take you to drive there or to ride your bike. I've heard of some employees who like to do a practice run to make sure that they won't be late. It's also a good idea to factor in some additional time on your way in case you get caught up in traffic. So it's a pretty basic one. Get there on time, if not 15 or 30 minutes early. The next one is to think about what impression you want to make by what you choose to wear. Lately, I've been reading a lot of articles about how COVID has changed the way that a lot of people experience work. And obviously one of the biggest changes has been the increase in employees who have had to work from home. So hours and hours of video calls have meant that you may have seen your boss in a t-shirt and track pants a lot more than you usually would, which is leading to employees and employers questioning how formal their office dress code needs to be. Some organizations think it could be more casual. However, if you are starting a new job, it's probably not a good idea to dress on the casual side of things. On your first day, it's probably better to be a bit overdressed as opposed to being too casual. So an idea is to think back to your interview. What were people in the office wearing? And if you can't remember or you did your interview via video conference, then you don't have a lot to go by. Try to have a look through your company's website or their social media pages to get an idea of what might be appropriate. So this might be minor in the grand scheme of things, but it can help to quickly feel like you are a part of the organization if you are dressed appropriately. So I've worked with lots of leaders and they will often tell me exactly what they're thinking of their employees, both good and bad. I then coach and guide them on how they might be able to have a conversation. In some cases, they may pull things back a little bit and soften the message. So I've really heard the purest form of the message, what leaders like and what they don't like. And one thing that leaders love, and this comes up time and time again, is for employees to demonstrate initiative. This is where putting in a little bit of effort, even before you start your job, can really help you to build a good reputation at your organization. So some employees will email their new boss prior to starting and ask them what they'd like them to do during their first week. They'll ask if there are any expectations or deliverables that they can start thinking about prior to starting. And it's a really great way to show your new leader that you are keen to hit the ground running. So here's a sample email that you could use, really easy to put into practice. So you just write, "Hi John, I'm really looking forward to starting a new role. I've been reviewing the company website and keeping an eye out for news articles regarding the company. Is there anything that you would like me to look over prior to starting? Please feel free to send me any papers or presentations that you'd like me to review. Thanks, looking forward to starting, Dave." So as you can see, it's really short, it's really simple, but it can go a long way. So we all have different personalities and we all experience tension and apprehension in different ways. Some people become more reserved and reflective, whilst others become more argumentative and confrontational. Do you know how you respond when you are stressed? It's probably a good idea to figure that out prior to starting, and I'll explain why shortly. When you first start in an organization, it can be wise to hold back a little bit on your argumentative or confrontational side until you've had the time to develop trust and relationships with your colleagues. It's wise to understand who is responsible for projects or policies or certain designs. It's a particularly special feeling when you publicly criticize a piece of work and then later find out that it was one of your boss's pet projects. There is nothing wrong with conflict in the workplace. If it is handled well, it can lead to innovation and new ways of doing things. Ideally, you want to be working in a team or an organization where creative abrasion is valued and celebrated. This is a situation that I've seen play out a few times. An organization will hire 15 interns who are completing a vacation program, and the program will often be for a defined period of time. For example, a 3-month contract. And at the end of the contract, there may be an opportunity to offer permanent roles, but there may only be 5 permanent positions available. So it's a competitive process, and all eyes are on the interns for that 3-month period. A lot of consideration is given to who is performing the best and who is demonstrating the right and best behaviors. Sometimes I've seen some interns who act aggressively during their first few months on the job, and this might be due to nerves or lacking confidence. So in some cases, people will overcorrect. They'll become confrontational and argumentative. And in some organizations, for some leaders, this is an acceptable trait, but in a lot of organizations, this can be a recipe for disaster. Do you become more argumentative when you are under pressure? If that is something that you do, perhaps try to work on building relationships with people and developing a healthy level of trust before you start to have confrontations. So at the start of the video, I said I'd be giving you ideas which progress from easy to hard. And the reason that this one is last is because it can be hard to do this stuff. You have to put the hot torch on yourself. You might have to ask your friends and family for their honest feedback on how you cope under pressure. Another way to do it is to complete a personality assessment and then work through your results with an accredited practitioner. And I've used a number of different personality assessments, but my favorite one is the Facet 5 tool. It's really easy to understand and apply, but it also has high validity. During the Facet 5 debrief with an accredited practitioner, they will take you through your results. You'll be provided with a comprehensive 17-page report, which details all of your strengths and any areas of your personality which might be risks for you in terms of how others might perceive them. I've covered it in detail in a video which I'll include in the description. If you are interested in learning more about personality assessments, feel free to send me an email or write a comment. They really are a powerful way to give you awareness on your blind spots, as well as reinforcing what your strengths are. So I've put together a playlist called Learn for Your Career, which has some other ideas that will help you in your career, so make sure you check that out. Thanks for taking the time to watch. I really hope that this helps you with your career. And if you have any questions, feel free to email me or write a comment below. Thanks again for taking the time to watch, and I will see you in the next video.